The scent of burnt vanilla filled Harper's sweet haven as Tessa scraped charred cupcakes into the trash. 3 days since the wedding disaster. 3 days of hiding. Rain hammered the bakery windows. Through the glass, she saw him. Evan Bradley stood outside. It's perfectly still, in a charcoal suit, water streaming down his face. He didn't knock, just stared. Tessa's single quotes, his hands trembled. The spatula clattered against the sink. He pushed the door open. The bell chimed, too cheerful for the moment. "Closed," Tessa said, not turning around. "I know who you are." His voice was granite. "Tessa Harper. Baker. Best friend to the runaway bride." She finally faced him. Without the red wig, she felt naked under his gaze. His jaw was tight, eyes burning with something between fury and curiosity. "Then you know why I did it?" Evan stepped closer. She smelled rain and expensive cologne. "You humiliated me in front of 300 people. Made me look like a cheating deadbeat. Clara didn't love you. Clara didn't know me." He stopped at the counter between them. "Her father owed me money. The wedding was a business arrangement. Nothing more." Tessa's stomach twisted. "You were going to marry someone who loved another man? You crashed my wedding with a fake pregnancy and a discount wig?" Something flickered in his eyes. Almost amusement. Creative, reckless, stupid. "If you came here to threaten me, get it over with." Slapped it on the flour-dusted counter. "Your lease. I own this building. Bought it 2 years ago." The words hit like ice water. Tessa grabbed the papers, scanning the fine print. Her sanctuary. Her dream. His property. "You have 30 days?" Evan said softly. Unless what?" He leaned across the counter, close enough that she could see gold flecks in his brown eyes. "You owe me a wedding, Tessa. So you're going to give me one?" Her heart stopped. "What? Marry me?" 6 months. A contract marriage to restore my reputation. His smile was cold. "Then I'll let you keep your bakery. Hell, I'll even pay off your debts. You're insane." "I'm a businessman. You destroyed something of mine. Now you'll replace it." Tessa's pulse thundered in her ears. She thought of the bills, the eviction notice, the broken oven she couldn't afford to fix. "And if I refuse?" Evan straightened, buttoning his jacket. "Then you'll lose everything, just like I did." He walked to the door, paused. "You have 24 hours to decide. Choose wisely, Tessa Harper, because I always collect what I'm owed." The bell chimed as he left. Through the window, she watched him disappear into the rain. The envelope sat on the counter like a coiled snake. Her phone buzzed. A text from Clara. "Are you okay? I heard Evan's looking for you." Tessa stared at the burnt cupcakes in the trash, at the empty bakery she'd built with her own hands, at the future crumbling like stale bread. She picked up the envelope. Outside, thunder cracked the sky open. The lawyer's office smelled like leather and old money. Tessa signed her name for the 5th time, each stroke feeling like a small betrayal. Evan sat across from her, immaculate in navy blue, watching. 6 months, the lawyer said, sliding another document forward, after which both parties will file for quiet divorce. Miss Harper retains ownership of the bakery property. All debts cleared. Mr. Bradley's reputation restored through the appearance of a legitimate marriage. Tessa's pen hovered. What exactly does appearance mean? Public events, dinners? You'll move into the east wing of my house, Evan said. Separate bedrooms. We maintain the illusion I'm not sleeping with you. I'm not asking you to. His voice was flat, professional. This is business, she signed. The pen felt like a knife. Evan stood, extending his hand. Welcome to the Bradley family, wife. His palm was warm, firm. She pulled away too quickly. The move happened fast. One weekend, her entire life packed into boxes and transported to Evan's estate. A sprawling mansion that looked like it belonged in a magazine, all white columns and manicured gardens. Her room was bigger than her entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a lake. A bed that could fit for people. Everything perfect and cold. That first dinner, They sat at opposite ends of a table built for 12. "We have a charity gala Friday," Evan said, cutting his steak with surgical precision. "Wear something appropriate. I don't own gala clothes. I've arranged for a stylist. Tomorrow at 9. Tessa set down her fork. "Do you always control everything?" "Yes." He met her eyes. "It's how I built this empire." "Control, Tessa. Something you clearly lack." "I saved my best friend from a loveless marriage. You destroyed a business deal and made me a laughingstock." He sipped his wine. "Tell me, was it worth it? Sacrificing your own freedom for hers?" The question hung in the air like smoke. "Every time," Tessa whispered. Something shifted in his expression. Brief. Gone before she could name it. The weeks blurred. Photo ops where Evan's hand rested on her lower back, burning through fabric. Dinners where she learned he took his coffee black and hated small talk. Nights where she heard him pacing in the room next to hers, restless. One evening, she found him in his study, tie loosened, staring at architectural plans. "You actually work at midnight?" He didn't look up. "Success doesn't keep office hours." She stepped closer, studying the blueprints. "What is it?" "Affordable housing complex. Downtown." He rubbed his eyes. "Tired. Human. The city council's blocking it. Say it'll lower property values. But you're pushing anyway. I grew up in a place like this." His voice was quiet. Raw. "Before my mother married into money. I remember what it's like to choose between heat and food." Tessa saw him differently then. Not the arrogant mogul. The boy underneath. "Why did you really want to marry Clara?" she asked. Evan finally looked at her. "Her father owed me $3 million. He was going to lose everything. I offered a way out." "That's not an answer." "I don't believe in love, Tessa. I believe in transactions. Fair exchanges." He stood close enough that she could smell whiskey on his breath. "People always want something. Better to name the price up front." "That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. It's honest." His eyes searched hers. "What do you believe in?" "That some things can't be bought." "Everything can be bought." He reached out, fingers brushing a strand of hair from her face. The touch was electric. "The question is whether you're willing to pay." His phone shattered the moment. Evan turned away, answering in clipped tones. Tessa left before she could do something stupid. But that night, lying in her too-big bed, she couldn't stop thinking about the boy who remembered hunger. The man who built empires but believed in nothing. The next morning, she found a note on the kitchen counter in his sharp handwriting. "Emergency trip to Chicago. Back Sunday. Make yourself at home." That the house felt enormous without him. Tessa spent the day baking in his industrial kitchen, filling the emptiness with the scent of cinnamon and butter. She was piping frosting when her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello?" Tessa Harper. A woman's voice. Smooth. Dangerous. "We need to talk about your husband." "Who is this?" "Someone who knows what Evan Bradley really is." "Meet me at the Rusty Nail. Tonight. Come alone." The line went dead. Tessa stared at the phone. Heart hammering. The cupcakes suddenly tasted like ash. The Rusty Nail hadn't changed since Tessa's lie about it. Dim lighting, scarred wooden booths, the smell of beer and bad decisions. A woman sat in the corner. Late 30s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. Tessa Harper. Not a question. "Sit." Tessa slid into the booth. "You know my name?" "I don't know yours." "Victoria Chen, Evan's former business partner." She pushed a manila folder across the table. "Open it." Inside, photographs, documents, bank statements. Tessa's hands trembled as she flipped through them.
What is this?"
"Proof that your husband is not who you think he is." Victoria's smile was razor-thin. "That affordable housing project he's so passionate about, it's a front. He's planning to build luxury condos, displace 300 low-income families, and triple his investment." Tessa's stomach turned. "You're lying, am I?" Victoria tapped one document. His real proposal. Filed under a shell corporation. He'll wait until the city approves the affordable housing, then claim financial difficulties and pivot. legal loophole, morally bankrupt. The words from their conversation echoed, I don't believe in love. I believe in transactions. Why? Tell me. Because Evan destroyed my career when I refused to go along with this scheme, called me disloyal, blacklisted me. Victoria's eyes glittered. And because you have something I need, access. You're his wife. You can find the original contracts. Expose him before he ruins those families. This could destroy him. He deserves it. Tessa stared at the photos. Evan in business meetings, signing papers. The same man who told her about being that hungry boy. I need time to think. You have 3 days. After that, he files the final permits. Victoria stood. Choose carefully, Tessa. Some princes are just well-dressed wolves. The folder felt like poison in Tessa's hands. She didn't go home. Drove to Clara's new apartment instead, a tiny place she shared with Jake. Filled with art supplies and laughter, Clara opened the door in paint-stained overalls. Tessa, what's wrong? Everything spilled out. The contract marriage. Victoria's accusations. The proof that felt too real. What do I do? Tessa whispered. Jake, listening from the doorway, spoke first. You expose him. He's playing you like he tried to play Clara. But Clara's eyes were softer, knowing. Or you ask him the truth. What if the truth is worse? Then at least you'll know who you married. Tessa drove back as dawn broke, the folder burning in her passenger seat. The mansion was still dark. She let herself into Evan's study, hands shaking. His files were organized, labeled. She found the folder marked Downtown Development easily. To easily dot inside, Victoria's evidence matched perfectly. The Shell Corporation, the permit applications, the projected profits. But there was more. Another folder. Handwritten notes in Evan's sharp script. Alternative financing. Subsidized units. Partner with nonprofit. Make it work without displacement. A letter to the city council. I withdraw my application for luxury development. Attached, please find revised plans for genuine affordable housing funded through personal investment. Dated 3 days ago. Looking for something? Tessa spun. Evan stood in the doorway, suit wrinkled, eyes exhausted from travel. I can explain, can you? He stepped inside, seeing the open files. The folder from Victoria. His expression went cold. You broke into my private office. Someone told me you were lying. About the housing project. That it was all a scam. Victoria. Not a question. Evan's jaw tightened. And you believed her. I didn't know what to believe. So you came here to find proof that I'm the monster everyone says I am. He picked up the folder with his handwritten notes. Did you find it, Tessa? Shame burned her throat. I found that you changed the plan. I never had another plan. His voice was quiet, hurt. Victoria wanted to turn it into luxury condos. When I refused, she tried to sabotage the entire project. Spread lies. I had to fire her. Why didn't you tell me? Because you're my contract wife, not my confidant. Evan set the folder down with careful precision. This marriage is business. Remember? You made that very clear. Evan, I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't rebuild trust. He walked past her to the window. Dawn light made him look carved from stone. You want to know the real betrayal, Tessa? I was starting to think this could be more than a contract. That maybe you saw me. Not my money. Not my reputation. Me. His words cracked something open in her chest. I do see you. Then why did you believe I'd hurt 300 families? He turned and she saw it. Real pain. Why was it so easy to think the worst? Because believing in people meant risking everything. Because her father had left when she was 10, promising he'd come back. Because love felt like standing on a cliff edge. I'm scared, she whispered. Of what? That this is becoming real. The air between them charged. Dangerous Evan crossed the space in 3 strides. His hands cupped her face, gentle, despite the anger in his eyes. You want real, Tessa? This is real. I think about you every damn minute. When I'm in meetings, I'm wondering what you're baking. When I'm alone, I'm remembering how you look in morning light. Contract says 6 months. Screw the contract. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. I want you to stay. Not because of the bakery. Because I'm falling for the woman who crashed my wedding in a red wig and gave me hell. Her heart was a wild bird. Evan, tell me you feel it too. Tell me I'm not alone in this. Should say no. Should protect herself. Should remember that fairy tales were just stories. Instead, she kissed him. His lips were soft, hungry, tasting like coffee in desperation. He pulled her closer, and the world narrowed to his hands and her hair, his heart hammering against hers. When they broke apart, both breathless, he rested his forehead against hers. Stay, he whispered. Okay. They stood there, wrapped in dawn and promises. Neither seeing the shadow move past the study window, neither hearing the camera click. The next morning, Tessa's phone exploded with notifications. Every news site, every gossip blog. The same headline: Billionaire's fake marriage exposed, contract wife caught in fraud. Wow, scheme bellow it. Photos of her and Evan kissing in his study. Leaked contract documents. Victoria's accusations, now public, and worse, allegations that Tessa had orchestrated the whole thing. That she'd crashed Clara's wedding deliberately to trap Evan. To steal his fortune. Her phone rang. Evan. Don't say anything to anyone, he said, voice tight. I'm handling this. Evan, I didn't leak this. I swear, I know. A pause. Heavy. But it doesn't matter what's true. It matters what people believe. The line went dead. Through her window, Tessa saw news. Vans pulling up to the mansion gates she'd wanted real. Now real was burning everything down. The scandal swallowed them whole. Tessa stopped leaving her room. Stopped baking. The news vans camped outside became white noise, punctuated by shouted questions she couldn't answer. Her phone was a weapon she couldn't put down. Each refresh brought fresh poison gold. Digger. Manipulative. She destroyed one wedding to steal a husband. Clara called 12 times. Tessa couldn't answer. Couldn't explain that trying to save her friend had cost her everything. On the third day, Evan knocked. Entered without waiting. He looked wrecked. Tie gone, shirt wrinkled, dark circles under bloodshot eyes. The board called an emergency meeting, he said. They want me to step down as CEO. Say the scandal makes me a liability. Tessa's chest tightened. Because of me. Because of us. He sat on the edge of her bed. Close, but not touching. Victoria timed this perfectly. The leaked contract, the photos, her interview claiming I manipulated you into this marriage. My investors are pulling out of the housing project. Everything's collapsing. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. His voice cracked. This isn't your fault. I dragged you into my world. Made you sign that contract? I used you. We used each other. He looked at her then. Really looked. When did it stop being use? The question hung between them like a held breath. When you told me about being hungry, Tessa whispered. When I realized you weren't the villain I needed you to be. Evan reached for her hand. Laced their fingers. I have a choice to make. The board will let me keep my position if I end this marriage. Publicly. Say you tricked me. Play the victim. Cold dread flooded her veins. And if you don't, I lose everything I built. The company. The housing project. 20 years of work gone. She understood what he wasn't saying. The impossible choice. Her or his life's work. Do it, Tessa said, pulling her hand away. End the marriage. Save your company, Tessa. I mean it. She stood, wrapping her arms around herself. This was always temporary. 6 months, remember? We're just ending early. You think I can throw you away that easily? Evan shot to his feet. After everything? I think you have 300 families counting on that housing project. I think you have employees who need their jobs. I think the world needs what you can build more than it needs us. That's not your sacrifice to make. Yes, it is. Tears burned her eyes. Because I love you. And love means letting go when staying will destroy you. The words detonated between them. Evan stared at her, devastated. You can't say that and then ask me to leave. Watch me. She forced steel into her voice. Go to that board meeting. Tell them I'm the villain. That I seduced you, trapped you. Whatever story saves your career. I'll back it up. I'll leave town. You'll never have to see me again. I don't want that. What you want doesn't matter anymore. She was crying now, couldn't stop. Sometimes the right choice feels like dying. Do it anyway. Evan closed the distance. Framed her face with shaking hands. If I do this, if I let you walk away, I'm the coward. Not you. You're the man who can still save those families. Who can still build something that matters. She kissed him, salt and goodbye. Be that man, please. He held her like she was breaking. Like he was breaking. I'll make sure you're protected. Money, new identity if you want, anything. I don't want your money. I want you to promise me something. Anything. Finish the project. Build those homes. Let something good come from this disaster. Evan nodded against her hair. A promise sealed in silence. When he left, Tessa packed her single suitcase. Everything she'd brought to this mansion, this marriage, this love that felt like a knife. The press conference happened at sunset. Tessa watched from a diner television, volume low. Evan stood behind a podium, composed and controlled. The man he'd built himself into. I was the victim of a calculated scheme, he said, each word precise. Miss Harper manipulated circumstances to enter into a fraudulent marriage. I take full responsibility for my poor judgment. The marriage is annulled. I'm moving forward with renewed focus on my business commitments. Questions erupted. He answered them all. Painted her as the villain. Saved his empire with her reputation. The diner was empty except for Tessa and an old man reading a newspaper. She paid her bill with the last of her cash. Her phone buzzed. Clara, she answered. I saw the news. Clara's voice was thick. Tessa, where are you? Leaving? Don't follow me. Don't try to find me. You're protecting him. I'm setting him free. Looked out at the darkening sky. Same thing I did for you. Turns out I'm good at that. What about what you want? I wanted him to have a chance. That's enough. She hung up, turned off her phone, dropped it in a trash can outside. The bus station was 3 blocks away. A one-way ticket to Portland, a city where no one knew her name, where she could start over again. As the bus pulled away from Willow Creek, Tessa watched the town lights fade. Somewhere in that darkness, Evan was rebuilding his life, brick by brick. Without her, her heart felt like shattered glass. But she could breathe. 6 weeks later, Tessa worked the morning shift at a small coffee shop in Portland's Pearl District. Different city, different name, different life. She was wiping down tables when the news played on the overhead TV. Bradley Development breaks ground on revolutionary affordable housing complex. CEO Evan Bradley credits recent personal struggles with renewed commitment to social responsibility. Her hands stopped moving. The screen showed Evan in a hard hat, shaking hands with community leaders. He looked tired, older, but there was something in his eyes. Purpose, the project sheet. Saved. Tessa smiled through her tears. The bell above the door chimed. She turned, automatic greeting on her lips, and froze. Evan stood in the doorway. Jeans, simple jacket. No entourage. No cameras. Just him. Supposed to be in Willow Creek, she whispered. Was he stepped inside, closer. Then, I realized I built everything I thought I wanted, and it meant nothing without you. You can't be here. The press will find out. Let them. He stopped in front of her. I stepped down as CEO. My brother runs the company now. The housing project is finished. Those families have homes. You gave up everything. I gave up nothing that mattered. His hand reached for hers, tentative, hoping. I'm here for you, Tessa. No contracts. No conditions. Just me asking if there's still a chance. Her heart was a wild thing. You destroyed my reputation to save yours. I know. And I'll spend the rest of my life making that right if you let me. Why should I trust you? Because I'm standing here with nothing. No empire. No power. Just a man who's in love with a baker who taught him what matters? His eyes were raw, honest. I don't deserve you, but I'm asking anyway. Can we start over? Tessa looked at him. Really looked. Saw the boy who remembered hunger, the man who built empires, the person who'd learned finally how to fall. I'm Tessa Harper, she said softly. I like baking and romantic comedies and ruining weddings. Evan's smile was sunrise. Evan Bradley. I like architecture and bad coffee and the woman standing in front of me. That's a terrible introduction. Then we'll keep practicing. Right there in the coffee shop, under fluorescent lights, tasting like hope and second chances, when they broke apart, laughing and crying, Tessa whispered against his lips. Don't make me regret this. Never. He held her like a promise. This time, I'm all in. Outside, rain began to fall on Portland streets, washing clean. Starting fresh, and somewhere in Willow Creek, in a bakery that still bore her name, the lights stayed on. 1 year later, Harper's Sweet Haven reopened its doors. Not in Willow Creek, in Portland. A small storefront with exposed brick, hanging plants, and the scent of vanilla that meant home. Tessa pulled a tray of cinnamon rolls from the oven, golden and perfect. Through the window, she watched morning commuters hurry past, some pausing to admire the displays. The door chimed. Evan entered carrying 2 coffee cups, paint smudged on his forearm. He'd been at the community center since dawn, teaching free architecture workshops to kids who wanted to build their dreams. Busy morning. He set the coffees down, kissing her flour-dusted cheek. Mrs. Chen ordered 6 dozen cupcakes for her grandson's birthday, and someone wants a wedding cake. Tessa grinned. I told them I have a complicated history with weddings. Did you mention crashing one in a red wig? That's second date information. Oh. They'd gotten married 3 months ago. Simple ceremony at the courthouse, Clara and Jake as witnesses. No contracts. No conditions. Just vows they wrote themselves about choosing each. Other every day, Evan wore the ring like a badge of honor. The bell chimed again. Victoria Chen walked in. Tessa tensed. They hadn't spoken since the scandal. Since Victoria's lies had nearly destroyed everything. I won't stay long, Victoria said quietly. She looked different, softer. I came to apologize. What I did was unforgivable. I was angry and I hurt 2 people who didn't deserve it. Why now? Evan's voice was careful. Guess I got help. Therapy. Dealt with my own demons. Daria met Tessa's eyes. You didn't owe me forgiveness. But I owed you truth. I'm sorry. Tessa studied her. Saw genuine remorse. The kind that costs something. Apology accepted, Tessa said. But you'll have to earn trust, I know. Victoria nodded. I won't take more of your time. I just needed you to know. The bells chime, fading into morning noise. Evan pulled Tessa close. You okay? Yeah. She leaned into him. Some bridges burn. Some get rebuilt. We choose which ones matter. It's a bakery filled throughout the day. Regulars who knew Tessa's story and didn't care. Strangers drawn by the smell of fresh bread. A little boy who pressed his nose against the display case, eyes wide at the chocolate SALA. R.S. Tessa gave him one for free. Watched his face light up that evening after they closed. Evan and Tessa sat on the counter, sharing leftover pastries and cheap wine. I got a call today, Evan said. The housing project in Willow Creek. They want to replicate it in 5 other cities. Asked if I'd consult. Will you? Only if you come with me. He brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. I don't do anything without you anymore. Tessa's heart swelled. You know what's funny? I crashed Clara's wedding to save her from a loveless marriage. And somehow ended up finding love in the mess. Poetic justice. It's more like cosmic irony. She kissed him, tasting cinnamon and promise. But I'll take it. They sat there as the city darkened around them. 2 people who'd been broken and betrayed, who'd chosen to heal together instead of apart. Outside, the sign flickered on, Harper's Sweet Haven, below it. Smaller letters, where every ending is a new beginning. Clara called as they were locking up. Tessa answered on speaker. Guess what? Clara's voice bubbled with excitement. Jake got a gallery showing. His paintings are selling. And we're expecting. Tessa's hand flew to her mouth. Clara, that's incredible. We want you to be the godmother. Both of you. Evan squeezed Tessa's hand. We'd be honored. After they hung up, Tessa looked at the man who'd been her contract, her enemy, her heartbreak, her choice. Thank you, she said. For what? For being worth the risk. Evan's smile was soft, real. The kind that couldn't be bought or negotiated or controlled. Right back at you. Tessa Harper Bradley. They walked home through Portland streets. Hands linked past coffee shops and bookstores and late-night wanderers. The rain had stopped. Stars pushed through the clouds behind them. The bakery lights dimmed. Ahead, the rest of their lives waited, not perfect. Not easy, but theirs. And sometimes, that was the sweetest thing of all. The end.